Some of the characters in Bluey hide health problems and live very difficult lives. Do you have the courage to find out which little pups are suffering in the series? Bingo. If there is one character who is definitely facing a health problem, it's Bingo. This little pup appeared in the episode with the stage play of the puppy Bumby, created by Bluey, and unfortunately, we see that the protagonist's sister is sick. From what Bingo herself says, she was hospitalized and would like to go back home, but maybe the problem is even more serious, because the doctor is checking Bingo's breathing. At that moment, the doctor says that Bingo's breathing is very strong and that this is a good thing, but anyone who wasn't paying close attention didn't realize what is hidden in that line. The doctor says that Bingo needs to stay in the hospital for one more night under observation, right after measuring her breathing, and that means that at some point Bingo was having trouble breathing, which is definitely something very dangerous. For a long time, there has been a theory that Bingo has health problems, and this episode shows how the little pup may be suffering, but don't worry, because we know she's going to be okay. After all, the ending of the episode Surprise shows that Bingo grew up and became an adult, but does she continue to be sick? Let's find out about that and much more right now.
You know what's starting. It's another awesome Cinewave!
Chilli. Unfortunately, another character who may be dealing with a health problem is Chilli. We know that she already lost a child in the past, probably because the females in her family, such as her mother and sister, had the same problem. But in Chilli's case, it may be something deeper. Losing a child is certainly a terrible pain, and maybe Mrs. Healer feels a deep sadness because of that. In the episode Relax from season 3, she appears reading a book about how to be happy, and she does this while she's on a family vacation. It's almost certain that Chilli never got over the loss of her first child, and that because of this, she needs help not only from books, but also from doctors and medication. Is that what's happening? We'll find out when season 4 is released. Grandpa Bob. Did you know that Grandpa Bob, Bandit's father, might be sick too? In his case, we're talking about memory. In the episode Fairy Tale, Mr. Healer's story shows that Grandpa Bob couldn't even remember his children's names, and that's proof that he may have some illness that makes him forget things. But that's not all. In the episode with Frisky's wedding to Uncle Radley, we discover that he traveled to India because he needed to find himself again, and that could be a clue that he's forgetting things. Maybe you're asking the same question Muffin asked about what exactly Grandpa Bob was looking for, and the answer is obvious. He's reliving the experiences he had in life because he's forgetting them, and that is very sad. Hopefully, Grandpa Bob will be okay. Grandpa Morty. But the other grandpa of Bluey and Bingo is also going through some problems. Chilli's father has some kind of heart condition, and we find this out in the episode Granddad, the 29th episode of season 2, when Mrs. Healer takes the girls to visit the place where she grew up. Even though the episode doesn't say it directly, it's clear that Grandpa Morty had a heart attack, and that the doctor told him he needs to rest and eat healthier foods. And this is a detail that should come back into the story next season for a very important reason. Chilli's dad is going to be a grandpa again. That's because Aunt Brandy is expecting her first child, and he needs to see his new grandchild grow up, don't you agree? Is Chilli's father taking care of his health? That's his responsibility. Mrs. Cattle. Another character who had health problems was Mrs. Cattle, who is Chilli's mother. This character has already passed away, but she makes our list for a very important reason. Maybe her daughters and also her granddaughters could have the same health problem she had. That's because some illnesses are common in certain families, and this is a detail that needs to catch your attention. Mrs. Cattle died from an illness known as cancer, and we know this because of the episode Dragon. That's because in the story of this episode, Chilli's mother is mentioned several times, and the word dragon is a way of talking about this illness, meaning that Mrs. Cattle lost her life because of it. If that's true, then Chilli, her older sister, and her daughters need to take very good care of their health. Hopefully no one gets sick. Would you like to be part of Bluey's family? Comment the hashtag Bluey so we can get to know each other. And if you're not subscribed yet, you know what to do. Click and hit the bell so you don't miss any videos. Aunt Brandy. And since we're talking about Chilli's family, it's time to show a bit of what the future of her sister, Aunt Brandy, could be like. This character has some condition that prevents her from having children. At least that's what everyone thought when we first met her in season 3. Chilli tells Bluey that her sister has a big dream, which is to become a mother, but that some things just weren't meant to happen. When this scene aired, we imagined that Chilli's sister suffered from an illness, maybe an even worse version than what Chilli herself has. But when Brandy appears pregnant at the end of season 3, it becomes clear that she can have children, but that this might be something very dangerous for her. Is Chilli's sister putting her own health at risk to have a child? We'll find out next season, since the new pup should be born in the first episodes. Dougie. Do you remember Dougie? We're talking about that little pup who can't hear and communicates using sign language. If you pay close attention to Dougie during the Turtle Boy episode, you'll notice that he's a normal, energetic little pup who loves playing at the park. The only difference is that he isn't able to hear. It's very important that you understand that the show has not confirmed whether Dougie was born deaf or if he lost his hearing for some other reason. It's also very important to make it clear that Dougie's case needs to be handled with a lot of care, because he's a normal boy, and saying that what he has is a disease may not be correct. To better understand this character, we're going to need more episodes featuring this little pup, and that would be great, wouldn't it? Hopefully he shows up more in the next season. Monkey Jocks. Do you remember the episode Mr. Monkey Jocks from season 2? This story shows a sick little pup in the hospital who receives, as a gift from his mother, the protagonist's old toy, Mr. Monkey Jocks. If you pay close attention, you'll notice that the pup's mother is actually the clerk who works at the toy store downtown, where Bluey and Bingo bought Muffin's birthday present. And that's pretty strange to imagine, isn't it? If she works at a store that sells new toys, why did she take a used toy from Bluey for her sick son? Maybe the answer is that, in reality, that little pup's mother is spending all her money on medication. Is that little pup okay? Hopefully he shows up in the next season. Sister. Indy's sister is also a little pup who has some health problems, but there's good news because she's most likely recovering right now. In the episode Early Baby from season 1, we discover that Indy's sister was born earlier than expected, meaning she wasn't ready to be born yet and because of that, had to stay in the hospital recovering. Indy's sister may have some breathing problems and can't be around many people so she doesn't catch an illness. Today, the little pup should be recovering, but it's important to include her on our list because unfortunately, the character had to fight for her life in her very first days. Coco. In the episode TV Shop, we discover that Coco had a serious health problem that worried all the parents at Calypso's school. The pink poodle had worms in her stomach, and that's very serious, because besides making you feel sick, worms can be transmitted to other people. That's what made Bandit super worried because it was a risk for Bluey. That day, the little pup had to leave school early to go to the pharmacy to buy medicine, but beyond that, Coco probably went through a long treatment because getting rid of worms from your stomach may be easy, but it takes a long time, so it must have been a difficult recovery for her.
And if you're not subscribed yet, you know what to do. Click and hit the bell so you don't miss any videos.
Bandit, still talking about the episode with worms in the poodle's stomach. Have you ever wondered why Bluey and Bingo were at the same pharmacy as their friend? In that story, Bandit was taking his daughters to the pharmacy because he needed to buy some vitamins. Not that he was sick, but this story makes it clear that Mr. Healer is getting tired. Maybe he should take better care of his health. Elderly woman. Do you remember that elderly woman who bought the granny scooter? She wasn't very nice, was she? Nobody likes her. But this character is also dealing with some health problem, since she appeared in the episode Granny Mobile to buy a machine that would help her walk. Of course, it's expected that an elderly person would have difficulty walking, but to the point of needing a mobility scooter means the problem must be serious. That's why this character makes it onto our list, even if you don't like her. McKenzie. McKenzie isn't exactly sick, but he suffers from a past trauma because he believed his mother had abandoned him. This is a problem that can only be solved either with the help of a psychologist or with a visit from Calypso inside his thoughts. We know that this trauma made McKenzie suffer a lot and even pushed his friends away. Today, our border collie is doing well, but he went through a lot before that. Jack Russell. Rusty's best friend, Jack Russell, is also a little pup who needs to take good care of his health, and maybe he even needs some medication. It's already clear to some fans that Jack has a condition called ADHD. This isn't exactly a disease, but it does require care because people like Jack have a mind that works differently from others, sometimes with very fast thoughts and sometimes very slow ones, which takes attention away from important things. And there are people who even need to take special medication to be able to do simple tasks, like doing homework or taking a shower, and that's why Jack is a character who needs to be on our list. Snickers. Have you noticed that Bluey's schoolmate Snickers is a little pup who might have a very serious health problem? In the episode with Frisky's wedding, he isn't in the school scene and also doesn't appear at the Healer family party, even though his mother was invited. We know that he might have problems because of his breed. Snickers is a dachshund, and in the real world, this type of dog has a high tendency to develop back pain. Because of their very long spine and very short legs, it's common to find a dachshund who suffers from a lot of back pain, and that may be why Bluey's friend disappeared in one of the most important episodes of the story. Will he be okay? We'll find out in the next season or in the Bluey movie, which arrives in theaters next year.
It's almost over, but until then, you can stay with us. There are 2 super fun videos waiting for you. Thanks, and see you next time.